Juneteenth is the holiday that marks the end of slavery and the emancipation of African Americans after the end of the Civil War in 1865. Over the weekend, the Unity Group of Chattanooga began its Juneteenth Commemoration Week, a series of events in Chattanooga that continues through this year's holiday on Thursday, June 19th.
This is a time that brings us together. It's not that Juneteenth supersedes the 4th of July. It coincides with the 4th of July because we should be thankful and appreciative that we live in a country as great as the United States. And I remember former President Bush said that a great nation faces its challenges and it tells the truth and then it tries to heal and move forward. And we are a great nation, Ray, and we should be celebrating the 4th of July. Juneteenth and the 4th of July are interlinked. We always say that the 4th of July is what freed the land, but it was Juneteenth that freed the people. And so we look at it as one continuous celebration and recognition that we are, in America, are still the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That's Eric Atkins with the Unity Group on the theme for this Juneteenth Commemoration Week, United in Solidarity for Freedom and Justice.
Start out going to the National Cemetery like we do every year. You know, the United States Colored Troops had a big hand in building the cemetery and constructing it. So we find it fitting and proper to go pay our respects there every year. And Sunday we were out at Bethlehem Wiley Baptist United Methodist Church. And you know, that church is historic. Some of Chattanooga's first citizens helped build that church and was mainstays at that church. And so it was also a hospital during the Civil War. So very interesting, paying respects to Bethlehem Wiley and that historic congregation. And Monday, Michael Imhotep, historian of African-American history, really global history. And so he came to talk about Juneteenth for where we need to go from here. And we recognize a lot of stuff happening in the country. So this is a very interesting dichotomy that we're in right now as a nation.
And this Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Bethlehem Center,
we're going to be raising voter awareness. That's a part of the Southside Jubilee that the Bethlehem Center hosts every year. We know that people are making sure that their voter registration is up to date, given some of the issues of why their vote is important, because we know that one vote can make a difference in an election. So we want to keep people motivated to be informed voters, That's the purpose of us being out there on that Saturday.
And next Wednesday, June 18th, the day before Juneteenth, at Community Haven.
That's called Freedom Feeds Us, Planting Seeds of Self-Determination. And you know, we've been having a lot of problems throughout the Chattanooga community about groceries closing. Some of them are labeled food deserts. And that's when you don't have grocery stores within a 1 mile radius of communities. So it limits your healthy food options. And also, a lot of people rely on those grocery stores for pharmacy needs also. And so this event will be talking about some of the historic nature, farming, and how it's tied to Juneteenth. You know, when people were in chattel slavery, that was agricultural. They had to be quite creative, whether they were planting sugarcane or rice or any number of vegetables or, you know, even food. And so we thought this would be a good opportunity to highlight what are some of the solutions, such as community gardens, such as community co-ops, and how communities can be more self-sustaining in answering some of the food insecurity needs that we are experiencing in our community right now.
And then let's talk about Juneteenth itself. Thursday, June 19th, starting with an event at noon at New Zion Baptist Church, Juneteenth National Freedom Day event, screening of a documentary, How to Sue the Klan.
How to Sue the Klan was a documentary that focused on the shooting of 4 black women on what was then 9th Street, is MLK Boulevard now, back in the 1980s, and what were the repercussions of that and how the families were affected. Some of the descendants of one of those women, Fannie Mae Crumsey, has formed the Fannie Mae Crumsey Foundation. So they will be talking about what the foundation will be doing going forward as far as educating and as far as raising awareness, especially over mental health and eliminating gun violence. That documentary will be screened at 12 p.m. at New Zion, as you mentioned. It's won awards all over the country, and it's been featured on PBS nationwide. And so we were happy to add that to the calendar. And also on June 19th, It's sort of the culmination of our activities. It's the Juneteenth National Freedom Day Parade. We'll begin the parade. Lineup will begin at 3:30 on Peeble Street. That's right next to Olivet Baptist Church. At 4 p.m., we will go down Martin Luther King Boulevard to Miller Park. And when we get to Miller Park, we will be having what we are calling the Juneteenth National Freedom Day Remix. And we put hashtag 160 on there because, Ray, this is the 160th anniversary of the end of the Civil War, of the end of chattel slavery in America. And we are linking up with like-minded groups and organizations all over the country and recognizing and celebrating this 160th anniversary, which of course led to the passage of the Emancipation Proclamation, the 14th and the 15th Amendments. And so this is really a pinnacle in American history that we are experiencing this year.
Talk more about what will happen at the remix after the parade.
We will have speeches from some of our elected officials. We will have greetings from some groups in Chattanooga. We will have live music performances. We will have spoken word. And I think even a fashion show is in there somewhere. So it's going to be a family-friendly oriented event, a little bit for everybody there. But mainly it's celebrating Juneteenth, and it sort of coincides with our theme for the occasion, United in Solidarity for Freedom and Justice, hashtag Juneteenth 160.
And for people who want to learn more about the events during Juneteenth Commemoration Week for 2025, where can they go online?
Well, they can go to our Facebook page. They can go to our website. They can go to our Instagram page. If you want to have more information, you can email us at unitygroupchat02@gmail.com. A lot of people in Chattanooga already have my personal information, including you, Ray. So somebody always knows how to get in contact with me directly if they have any specific questions that they want to ask.
All right. Eric, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ray.